Hi everyone. Today I want to introduce the concept of distress tolerance, what that is and what it means and how it applies in the area of frontotemporal dementia caregiving. So what we know about the frontotemporal dementias is they cause dysregulation to the frontal lobe, and one of the very common symptoms of this dysregulation are behavioural difficulties, impulse control problems, so the difficulty for the patient to control their behaviours, to put the brakes on their behaviour as they otherwise would. It also can disinhibit insight, so the capacity for the patient to look internally, to be self-reflective and to be aware of how their behaviour may impact others. This causes a lot of distress to caregivers, and trying to rationalise with a patient with FTD, let's say it's impossible. Let's go with that. In the earlier stages, there may be some leeway to introduce some cognitive strategies, but for the most part, and nothing is absolute, but as the disease progresses, certainly in the later stages, any sort of technique trying to rationalise is next to impossible. So what does that mean? It pretty much means that we need to be more accommodating. We need to be able to manage the behaviours in a way that is more behavioural by using reinforcement and positive kind of strategies. It also means that we have to regulate and adapt to their behaviours. So it's more about managing our own distress than it is trying to control theirs. So in distress tolerance management, what we're doing is trying to facilitate skills that can be used when it's difficult or next to impossible to change a situation. Distress tolerance skills are used to help us cope and survive during a crisis. And FTD caregiving is pretty much an ongoing crisis. And that helps us tolerate short-term or long-term pain. And that can be physical, psychological or emotional pain. So tolerating distress includes a mindfulness of breath and a mindful awareness of situations and ourselves. Being able to firstly use our own frontal lobes to understand the situation, to be aware that it is not our loved one's fault that they're behaving, saying, doing the things that they're doing, that it is due to their brain disease that they have no control over these areas of their life. There will be times you will think and absolutely believe that they're doing this on purpose, and you will get frustrated and react, and in turn that's going to cause more distress for the loved one and then increase your own frustration. So trying to manage their behavior is not the best idea. A better option is to manage your own behavior. Pardon me. So acceptance means being willing to experience a situation as it is, rather than trying to change it or trying to experience it as we would prefer it was. To be repeatedly turning the mind on, looking inwards, being more analytical and understanding and accepting that there is nothing we can do about the ultimate outcome of FTD. And instead, we have to manage each day and each situation as it arises, to be in the actual situation you are in, rather than the situation you think you're in or should be in or wish you were in. Those expectations are going to increase your stress and set you up for failure. Your mind is always going to give you other ideas, other interpretations, reminding you of old strategies, ways you used to interact, ways you used to respond, the way things were before, and this will be unhelpful. Each time your mind wanders off and you notice that these thoughts of the past or thoughts of the future, how I wish it was, how it used to be, these thoughts are bringing your attention to the fact that that is no more. We can only go back to the moment, the situation you are in, and manage it there. Now, the best advice I can give you is not to judge the situation or interpret it in terms of absolutes. So don't look at a situation and think, this is terrible, this is good, this is bad. Because what you're going to be doing in that interpretation is casting a judgment onto it. And with a judgment comes an expectation. We just want to accept, just be present in that moment, right now, the situation as it is, and being effective in the self-analysis that we are still able to provide in that situation. We understand that it is not our loved one's fault, and yet sometimes we still respond emotionally. Emotions don't think, the rational brain thinks. Emotions and the rational mind are often in conflict with each other. When you feel, you quickly interpret that situation in absolutes. I feel sad, this situation is terrible. I feel happy, this situation is great. But I want you to remove those interpretations. It's just a situation. Don't interpret it. Just live in that moment and let things be. This is distress tolerance. Distress tolerance is being present-centered and being okay, even when the situation is not okay. What radical acceptance is not, it's not judging. So it's letting go of judgment. Judgment causes the emotions to come into play, and the emotions maintain those feelings of helplessness. You have control of this moment. You cannot change what has happened, and you cannot predict what will happen. The past and the future are beyond your control, but this moment is now. So you don't give permission for this moment to go on forever. You feel the situation as it is right now, and you don't give up options, but you survive in this moment. It can help to use memory aids to remind us how we can help ourselves during distressing times. And one is the acronym IMPROVE, I-M-P-R-O-V-E. The I is imagery. When you feel like you're getting emotional or things are starting to get stressful and life is getting on top of you, go somewhere peaceful, or close your eyes and go somewhere through I, imagery. This is safe place visualization, and our frontal lobes are responsible for some of this imagery. We still have access to that. We don't have to be anywhere special. We don't have to be on a holiday in the Bahamas, although that would be nice. We can go anywhere in our mind. Create a safe place, somewhere calm and soothing. For me, it's the beach. Close your eyes and use your senses to imagine that. The smells, the salty smell of the air and the ocean, the feeling of the warm granular sand beneath your toes, the birds, the people, the calmness, the clouds, the color of the sky. Create that imagery in your mind. And by creating that imagery, you're also inducing a sense of calmness throughout your body. So remember, improve the moment. I, imagery. M is meaning. Find meaning in the situation. Just in this moment, what does it mean to you? Right now, I'm with my loved one. I'm safe. I can't change the situation, so I'm going to make the most of this moment. I'm going to hold them and love them despite of the circumstances. Find meaning. Find something purposeful in this moment. P, prayer, or meditation, or spirituality, or affirmations. Those sorts of positive mantras that we can replay in our mind. Find one for you and then repeat it every time you feel challenged. Repeat it. Thoughts impact physiology. Physiology impacts behavior. Behavior impacts emotions. Emotions impact thoughts, and round it goes. Simply by changing the content of your thoughts, you can change the impact on your body. So imagery, meaning, meditation. Now we're up to R, relaxation. Put on some relaxing music, some soothing nature sounds. Go out into nature. Go and sit in the sun. Go and have a little relax on the beach or out in the mountains, whatever it takes. Go and lay down in bed. Have a hot bath, a massage. There's lots of ways you can create time for relaxation. And yes, you have to create time. It won't come easily. So this is something you also need to manage. But you must find time to relax. The O in the acronym IMPROVE is standing for one thing at a time. So by trying to take on too much at once, you will overload your own systems. You need to manage that one thing at a time. Write it down. You know, it's much harder to jump across the river in one big leap. Makes more sense to, you know, put some stepping stones across and take one step at a time. By looking at the bigger problem, you're overloading your systems. One small step at a time and you will get across that raging river. IMPROV, we're up to V. And V stands for vacation. So this, again, doesn't mean going to the Bahamas, but it means taking time out of the situation, the me time, or imagining yourself on that beautiful holiday if you can't go. It might be just a short trip somewhere close to home, but get yourself out of that situation and start enjoying life. It really is such an integral part of self-care and distress tolerance. By these small little things in life that you can try and enjoy, you will also calm yourself, which in turn impacts the person you're caring for. E, the last letter in the acronym IMPROVE is E, and that stands for encouragement. So who are we encouraging? We're encouraging ourselves. And this is where that self-compassion strategy comes in. Looking after yourself with the smallest bit of care and empathy and love and compassion that you so freely give to everyone else, especially your loved one. Encouragement for you. Positive and calming self-talk. Every day, a little bit every day. There are some other acronyms and memory aids that we use, and I probably won't go into them now because I don't want to make this video too long. But for now, let's focus on that distress tolerance example, being able to be okay when things are not okay. And another very quick metaphor that I like to use is the puddle, the muddy puddle. The muddy puddle is uncomfortable. It's not pleasant. It's awkward to go through a muddy puddle. You're going to get your feet wet. And if you go through with the soggy socks on, they're going to come out the other side dirty and wet and not very pleasant sensation. But you have to go through. It's the only way around. You'll spend a lot of time and energy trying to find alternate approaches to get to the other side. You could try and build a bridge. You could try and go through the forest that's on this side or the storm that's on that side. Or you can just get those socks on and go through that muddy puddle. When you get to the other side, it will be unpleasant, but the mud and the wet sensation dries. Pardon me. It's just an unpleasant situation, and that's what our caregiving situation has to start to become. An unpleasant situation, but we are okay. When the storm hits, we are okay. When our feet are wet and dirty and muddy, that's all it is. It's wet, dirty mud. It dries, it goes away, and everything's temporary. So get prepared to go through the distress. And I think once you're prepared to accept it, then you can use that acronym, the IMPROVE acronym. Improve the moment with imagery, meaning, meditation, relaxation, one thing at a time, vacation and encouragement, that positive and calming self-talk and self-compassion. We are in this together, and we all understand the distress of being a caregiver of someone with FTD. And there is no nice, easy way through it. So we do have to get our feet wet and dirty, but it is okay. And by being okay, our loved one is also better positioned. So that just ruined the end of that video. Unfortunately, it was at the end. So I was just saying to have a happy, peace-filled weekend, and I will be back to speak with you soon. I wish